Hi there, everyone, and welcome to my training, Sales Copy That Sells. So this is a really quick presentation just to share with you some of the vital, fundamental tips really on creating great sales copy. And I know for so many of you that this is a bit of a frustration, a bit of a struggle, a pain point. Perhaps you doubt yourself, your ability to write great copy. So this is really why I've done this, just to give you some real fundamentals. At the end of this presentation, I have included a slide of resources that you might want to check out to kind of flesh out this information. If you found it useful, you want to know more, then please feel free to check out those resources. But I think what I've included here is enough for you right now as you're kind of getting started. So one thing I want to say is I consider myself a good writer. Writing is a passion of mine. I love writing blogs and I love writing stories and being creative. However, writing sales copy is a very different thing from creative writing. Sales copy is way less about being creative as it is about being clear and about appealing to your audience at whatever stage of the buying cycle they are at. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the phases of the buying cycle and how you can create copy that appeals to people at each of those phases. So just before I do that, when designing your website and sales page, consider these two questions at all times. These are the questions that your audience are asking when they're looking at your website or your sales copy. Do you have what I want? And why should I buy from you? So what is it that makes you unique? What's the value in what you're offering? So this is a recurrent theme that you always must consider when you're writing your sales copy. Okay, so what are these four cognitive phases that a buyer goes through on their journey to buying something, purchasing anything at all? These four cognitive phases, this is a framework, a very basic framework, is they go through an awareness phase, then they go through an interest phase, they go through a desire phase, and then the final phase, which is a culmination, a natural result of the first three phases, is the action phase. So in awareness, somebody has an awareness of a need or an awareness of a product or service that meets that need. At the interest phase, they say, okay, now I have an awareness. I'm interested in learning more about my options. So this is a phase where people are starting to evaluate what's out there. The desire phase is the phase at which somebody's saying, okay, I've decided what I want. And then the action phase is the purchasing. They're taking the action. And what we want to do is to create copy that has elements running throughout it that appeals to people at whatever stage they're at. So if they're in awareness, your copy will appeal to them. If they're in desire, your copy will appeal to them too. So there are different elements that you can include in your copy that will make sure that all those needs are met. So looking at the cognitive phase number one, awareness. This is where it all begins. So your awareness people, these are the browsers. They're not ready to buy. They're just browsing. And we have to grab their attention. And we do that by providing excellent free value. So we trade free value to gain their attention and increase engagement. So as a result of your free value and your consistency in showing up and sharing your message and providing great content, you're raising brand awareness. You're building know, like, and trust. Remember again, these people are not interested in being sold to. They're simply browsing. So what do you need to do in your copy in order to appeal to these browsers, these people who are in the awareness phase? The first thing is your website and sales copy must evoke a sense of calm and stillness, rather than being all busy and overloaded and complicated. Because when you've got lots of things going on your sales copy or on your website page, it just gives a sense of neediness and desperation and noise. So I've put on the second point, stop talking so much. We've only just met. That's what you don't want to evoke from whatever page, your website or your sales page. So make sure it's calm, lots of white space, short sentences, clear to the point, kind of copy. That's what you want. That will appeal. That will hold the attention of your browsers. Build trust with logos. So in any of your sales copy on your website pages, if you've got any logos of certifications, training qualifications, media mentions, anything like that, include those in your sales copy. Because for your browsers, for the people who are in awareness phase, those logos will subconsciously register with them and build trust. So include anything you've got that will do that. The fourth point here, does the headline state clearly what you offer and the value it provides your client? This is really important. I'm going to talk about this a bit more later on. But you can do the 5-second test to test whether your headline is clear on what you offer and the value you provide. So what is the 5-second test? Go out into the world and show your headline, and if you have a sub-headline, show those to people who don't know anything about what you do. You're just going to show them, this is for research, ask them nicely, you're doing some research, show them that headline for 5 seconds, and then ask them to tell you what you do and what value do you provide. If they can answer correctly, then your headline is clear as a bell, it's brilliant, it's going to appeal, your browsers are going to know exactly what you do. But if those people you question can't answer you, or they have to guess at what you do, then your headline needs amending. And the next point here, people don't read, they scan. Now, this was a huge revelation for me. Actually, it was a really, really enlightening information. It just seemed so obvious when I heard it, but I hadn't kind of catered for that in my copy. People don't read, especially the browsers. They're just scanning. So make sure that you use really short sentences. Don't be wordy. I can be really wordy. I love words. So I had to cut right back and just create short sentences, bullet point, cut out words. And I put here, focus the attention. So what I mean by that is, you can dilute your reader's attention by highlighting too much. So if you're highlighting or bolding anything or putting things in capitals, just minimize how much you actually do that to only the important points. So for example, I can focus my reader's attention by highlighting words such as niche, ideal client avatar, and clarity. So in fact, on my homepage, those 3 words are in bold throughout the sentence, because that will focus my reader's attention on those things, and that will resonate with them as points they need. Ruthlessly edit your copy. Ruthlessly edit your copy, guys. So try and do this as a test. Copy and paste what you've written into your website. Copy and paste it over into a Word document, and then try and cut your word count by 50%. That's your challenge. I bet you can do it. I definitely could. And when I actually read back what I'd written, or what I had left after I'd ruthlessly edited it, it was beautiful. It made perfect sense. It was clear as day. There was no mistaking how I was able to help my people. So that was a really great experience for me, to be able to ruthlessly edit my copy. And make things easy to find. This is especially important for your browsers, the people in awareness phase, because they will click off at any sign of confusion, or things aren't easy to read and navigate. They will just disappear. So make sure that your copy is clear, things are easy to navigate around for your awareness phase audience. Okay, so cognitive phase 2, we call the interest phase. So this is where your audience are interested now, after they've become aware of you and your brand and your service, or aware of their need. We call them the evaluators. They're evaluating all the information. And these are the people that you will never convince, or you will never convince anyone that they should be interested in what you sell. Okay, these people have seen what they've seen, they've done their browsing, they're aware, and now they're sitting up and thinking, okay, now I'm interested. So how do you then appeal to the people who are saying, okay, I'm interested? What you need to do is give some context so that these interested phase people can self-identify. So what do I mean by that? Well, think about this. Your audience, what are their needs? What are their pains and frustrations? What are their desires? What is it they want? Giving context around those things, highlighting the pains and frustrations and the desires of your audience, will enable her to identify herself in your copy. So this is really important to make her feel understood and heard. She'll feel like you get her. And you know how that feels. You know, when you've read something that really resonates with you, you feel understood, you feel connected, you feel a sense of relief that you're not alone. So this is what you want to be including in any sales copy to appeal to these people in the interested phase. Give context that she can identify herself with. Okay, so the next cognitive phase is the people who are in the desire phase. She knows she wants what you sell. This is the research phase. She's starting to read carefully now as opposed to scanning. She's seeking key information. So at this point, if you were to imagine that it was as straightforward as this, the browsers, the people in awareness phase, they click onto your website, your headline captures their imagination, captures their attention because it's so clear what you do. The subline attracts them. They're scanning that initial information. You've highlighted some bullet points that make them think, oh, I'm interested. As they're interested, they've started to read about the pains and frustrations that you're writing about. That means she can self-identify, she feels connected to you, she feels understood. So as you move down your copy and you're about 2/3 down, she's starting to seek key information at this point. So key information will help her decide whether to buy. So key information could include how much you charge. It could include how long you work together for, 3 months, 6 months, VIP day, whatever it is, however long you offer your services for. You can include potential results at this point and testimonials. So this is really important for the phase 3 people, testimonials from relatable people. So she's saying, I want what you sell. She's seeking key information. And so including testimonials in your sales copy is vital for these people, because she wants to know that if she buys from you, she's going to get some results. So with your testimonials, include some background into where your client was, what their experience of working with you was like, and then the outcome. So it is very relatable. Your audience can say, oh, she's just like me. The person that worked with you is just like me, and therefore she's more interested and ready to take action. And this leads us into cognitive phase number 4. Now you might be thinking, well, surely if she's gone through phase 1, 2, and 3 and she's ready and she's now action phase, there's nothing really I need to do. Well, actually, because these are your clients, these are the people who are saying, I'm buying what you sell. They're taking the call to action. You could actually undo this. You could actually undo the good work you've done by suddenly putting more information in there that is about, the awareness phase or the interest phase. So just keep your call to action very simple. Don't ask for more information than is necessary. So it doesn't matter what your call to action is. It could be to download an opt-in. It could be to book a call with you. It could actually be to pay, you know, buy now. That's unlikely with coaching. Perhaps if you need to have a discovery call with somebody, or they need to fill out a questionnaire to apply to work with you. But whatever it is, they are taking the call to action. So keep it simple. And of course, this phase is your opportunity to delight your customer. So if you're offering an opt-in, if that's the call to action, to exchange her email address for your opt-in, then make sure your opt-in is valuable, that it will help her, that it will provide some great value. If it's a discovery call, then make sure you delight your client on the discovery call. Give a great discovery call. And of course, if it's a buy now, then make sure that your service is second to none, offering your amazing coaching. Okay, so they're the 4 phases of the cognitive phases of the buying cycle. And the tips that I've shared with you will appeal to each of those 4 phases. So wherever people are at, when they come to your sales page, when they come to your website, if you include all of those tips that I've given you, you will be able to appeal to each of those 4 phases. Well, mainly the first 3 phases. The 4th phase is a natural result of the first 3. So what I want to do now is just give you a couple more kind of main tips really on creating headlines and call to actions. So don't make your website visitors have to think. Steve Krug wrote a book called Don't Make Me Think about web usability. So you've literally got seconds to appeal to people who visit your website or click onto your sales page. You've got literally seconds to appeal to them before they click off. So make sure that your headers and your subheaders are really clear, and that they talk about what your people want. So ask the question all the time, what do my people want? So here I've put, people don't want to go on a diet. They want a slim, healthy body. People don't want a vacuum cleaner. They want a clean room. So really be clear and focused on what your people want. And that third piece here is have clarity in the headline, and think about making sure your headline is crystal clear, and that the subline includes the emotional payoff. So let me just flip my screen so I can show you what that means. So you can see here the headline on this is my homepage. The headline, Business Mindset and Sales Coaching for Online Coaching Entrepreneurs. There's no mistaking what I do. That is crystal clear. I've done the 5-second test. People can tell me back to me what it is I do. And then you can see there the subline, the gift of clarity and freedom to run a business doing exactly what you love. That's the emotional payoff. So it's clear, and there is also an emotional payoff included there. So that's really important for your headlines. Okay. And then your call to action. This was a really important thing for me to learn. One call to action on every page. So every page of your website should have a call to action, but not one call to action button. So in the early days, especially with my Build Like a Boss Academy sales page, I had 3 different call to actions. So at the top of the page was a webinar sign up. In the middle of the page was a book a call with me if you want to talk about the Build Like a Boss program. And then at the bottom of the page, I had a buy now button. I mean, talk about off-putting and overwhelming. Any visitor to that sales page had no idea what was the best thing to do. So they did nothing. And that will happen if you've got multiple calls to action. So you can have multiple call to actions buttons, but make sure it's the same call to action on that one page. And with your call to action button, avoid generic words like subscribe and download. Try personalizing your call to action. So, if it's a call you're offering, then use words like I want my call, or I want blank, fill in the blank. And like I said before in the previous slide, with your call to action button, don't ask for too much information, for more information that's necessary. If they're opting into something, just make sure it's an easy opt-in, like a easy information exchange, like just a name and a email address. That's all you need. Okay, and then finally, just some points that I want to share with you, and this is the final slide before the resource page. The top 4 points here, bullet points: less is more, no shouting, breathability. They all point to the same thing, and this is about being minimalist. This is about giving your audience an experience of calm, that they can breathe when they're on your website or sales page. That there's not too many words. You're just clear, creating bullet points. You're not shouting at your audience. And when they're on your page, you want them to feel a sense of relief. And guess what relief is? Relief is the end of pain. What a great sensation to be able to provide for your people when they come to your website. Build trust. As I mentioned earlier, use any logos of media mentions or features or publications that you've been in, any certifications that you have. But you can include how long you've been in business. Build trust by talking about your expertise. So I can talk about my 20 years in sales coaching and my certifications. That's my expertise. A client of mine who's a health coach, she cured her son's eczema through diet. So that's her talking about her expertise. Another client of mine is a business coach. She actually ran 3 previous businesses, but because she closed them down due to whatever reason, difficulties and other things, she completely discounted her experience and knowledge. So didn't include that she'd run 3 businesses before. She discounted her experience and knowledge rather than recognizing and acknowledging all of those experiences as part of her expertise. So share your expertise, build trust by doing so. And then your testimonials, include testimonials with a photo, a name and a title. And that will really, really build that trust as well for you. And let me just have a look at my notes. There was something else. Don't do hype. Cut out jargon and hyperbole. Don't be sensationalist. It's like overkill with exaggerated claims and excess. People don't like that. Sounds great for you, but it's not appealing at all. So don't do sensationalism and hype. And then finally, these are some of the books that I would really recommend if you wanted to find out a bit more about this information. But what I've shared with you so far is enough for you to get started, and will really help you. If you follow these tips, they will really help you to create great sales copy. So I hope you found that helpful, ladies. If you've got any questions at all, we've always got the Q&A, or just tag me in your question in the Lady Boss Academy, and I would love to come and support you. So have a great rest of your day, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.